Hello there, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. We are pulling cards right now for January the 11th. I don't think I'm ready to take that card yet, or those two cards. So I want to keep shuffling for a little bit more. I'm going to be pulling cards, one for each sign. And so if you know your sun, moon, and rising signs, that can give you a little bit of juice. If you know all your other planetary placements, that can actually give you a lot of information about your day on a quick little video like this. Everybody remember the contest is still underway, so go ahead and put a comment down below this video if you would like to be entered into that contest. Still feel like I need to shuffle a little bit more, so I may as well say thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel with thumbs ups and shares and of course comments. Thank you also to those of you who are ordering private readings and Reiki sessions from me. It is because of all of you guys' support that I'm able to do what I love to do for my living, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright, so let's get started. Aries. You guys have the Four of Wands showing up here. Four of Wands just tells me that there is somebody entering the nest, somebody coming into the nest. So this can be you're bringing a new baby into the family. This could be that you're going back home to visit. Somebody could be coming back to the home where you live. And sometimes this can play out in a work setting too. Could be somebody that left is now coming back, or there is a new person in the work setting. With the Four of Wands like this, I think that this new person coming back or coming in is a good thing. It's going to be a cause for celebration and in some cases even relief. All right. Next up, let's look at who's next? Taurus. Okay, so Taurus, you guys have the King of Cups showing up in reverse. And King of Cups in reverse just means that there's something going on that we are not very happy about today. And I think that we are expressing our feelings when it comes to that. We're letting those pertinent people know. And when I say pertinent people, I mean we're letting those people know who can actually do something about it, who can make a difference. You know, so this isn't just crying and whining to people who, you know, can't do anything. This is talking to the people who would be able to actually bring some kind of resolution to whatever this situation is for us. All right, next up, let's look at Gemini. Here we have the High Priestess showing up. Geminis, you may be very in tune with your psychic abilities today. In fact, for a lot of you, you may have something happening today that puts you in a position where you kind of are forced to admit that, even if it's just admitting it to yourself, that there is something going on that can't be explained and that you might have some kind of psychic thing happening. I like it. Cancers. Cancer, Cancer. You guys have the Moon card showing up here. This is actually the card for another water sign, for Pisces. So it's interesting that it shows up, and it makes me feel like this is a good thing. This would be kind of a trine if we were looking at astrology between you and this card, or what it represents. I do think there's something going on here where not all the information is quite at the surface. And with this feeling like a trine to me, I think that whatever is going on here, this is something that is going to end up being good for you, something that whenever you find out about it, it's going to be happiness making, but there is something going on behind the scenes that you don't just know about today. You might have a suspicion because my eye is being drawn to that crab who's kind of spying on the wolf and the dog there. So you may have a suspicion, but I don't think that you know the full picture yet. All right, so that's for Cancer. Next up, we have Leo. Okay, so Leo's Queen of Swords showing up here. This is just telling me that you are looking at things very logically. You're taking care of business today in the very direct sense of that. So looking at things really logically. The Queen of Swords is somebody who, you know, she has been through some stuff, man. And I'm watering that word down just because it's a YouTube video, but she's been through some stuff. And because she has been through some stuff, she has figured some things out. This is not Mrs. Naive here. She knows what's up. She kind of knows the story on the streets, okay? And so I feel like you are paying attention to what's being brought to you, to what's around you, any type of business deals you may be making, or anything else that you may be taking care of. I think that you are definitely calling bullshit when you see it. And yeah, just taking care of business is the phrase that just keeps being fed to me over and over and over by Sacred Spirit as I look at this card. So definitely taking care of business. And if that means that you have to let somebody go or push somebody out because they're not acting in integrity, I think that you will have no problems doing that today. Okay, so that was for Leo. Leo's my dad's middle name. Let's look at Virgo. Princess of Cups showing up in reverse. Virgos, this just means that you're going to be letting somebody know exactly how important they are to you today. And this is really interesting because this can be that somebody is really important and really special to you. This can also be that somebody is aggravating the holy heck out of you, and you could let them know that, you know what, I can deal without this too. So letting somebody know exactly how important they are to you, that sword slices both ways. So let's see which way it slices for you guys today. You're going to be the ones letting somebody know how you feel about them. All right, so that's Virgo. Next up, let's look at Libra. Okay, guys, so Libras, you guys have the Hermit showing up in reverse. Libras, I think you've had this card before. I don't know how recently, but I think I remember pulling it for y'all before. So Hermit in reverse just means that you have a situation where you are either before today or in the earlier part of today, you've kind of secluded yourself so that you could think things over and sort things out and set your priorities. So with this Hermit card in reverse, this is just telling me that now towards the end of today, or maybe even if you secluded yesterday, then this would be today for most of today. But you are at some point today coming out to where you're interacting with the world again, whether that is interacting with one person, whether that is interacting with everyone, you know, whatever that looks like for you, you're coming back out into the world with your newly reset priorities and taking action in that direction today. Okay, and you may have secluded earlier today, maybe you secluded yesterday, so whenever you're coming out of seclusion, that's sometime today. Okay, but this card for me reversed talks about coming out of that seclusion and taking action on those new priorities. All right, next up, let's look at Scorpio. Scorpios, we have the Queen of Pentacles showing up in reverse. This just means there's somebody that we have been generous with, whether that is with our time, with our money, with our energy, with our efforts, doesn't really matter, but we've been generous with somebody, and we did that in the hopes that whatever we were doing would help them to move forward, to get a leg up in life or in some situation. And what we're seeing is it's not actually helping them move forward at all. In fact, it's just making them more dependent on us, which defeats the whole purpose. So now what we're doing is we are cutting off that generosity. We are no longer extending that because we do want that person to come into a place where they're able to do these things for themselves. Okay? It's almost like realizing that we've been acting to some degree in a codependent manner, and now it's time for us to get our stuff together so the other person can get their stuff together. All right, so that's Scorpio. Next up, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you guys have the Hanged Man showing up, and the Hanged Man just tells me that you are taking some time to really look at things from a different angle. You may be getting other people's sides of the story around something. There's some type of decision that you want to make because you want to resolve something and be able to move forward with it. But right now, you're just taking the time to make sure that you're looking at it correctly so that you can find that decision or that resolution that really is going to work for everybody involved, not only for you. Okay, so that's Sagittarius. Next up, let's look at Capricorn. Capricorn, you guys have the Feralt. Now this is a card that tells me that you may be actively doing some healing that's at a very physical level. You could also be doing some shadow work today, so healing at an emotional or spiritual level. But definitely this has to do with bringing things into balance. This card is the closest that this deck comes to having a Temperance card. And so for me, I think maybe because of my Reiki background, I just see this as bringing everything into balance. So this is like your old school medicine woman bringing all the cells in the body into balance so that we can move forward in a more healthy way. So some of you may be taking some type of cough or cold syrup, something like that. You may have some kind of medication. I know one time I was on medication because I had poison ivy terribly on my face and they put me on steroids. Not saying any of you are going to have that situation, especially this time of year, but some type of medication that I think you would not normally be taking. This is not something that you would just take on an everyday basis. So, and it doesn't have to be like over-the-counter medication or prescribed medication. This could be a medicine woman type of medication too. So alternative healing, you know, herbs, elixirs, potions, things like that could be coming into play here too. But I do think that you're doing something to actively bring healing into your body and possibly mentally and emotionally, although this for me is more about physical healing. All right, so that's Capricorn. Next up, let's look at Aquarius. Capricorn, I hope you feel better soon. Aquarius, you guys have the Eight of Cups showing up in reverse. I gotta tell you guys, from personal experience, I just dread this card. Most people don't think of this as one of those cards that you would dread out of the tarot. They'd much more dread for like the Tower or the Devil or the Death card or something like that. For me, this card. And it's the Eight of Cups is talking about that there's a situation that you walked away from because it was making you feel depleted or exhausted. And now when it shows up in reverse, for those of you who have Aquarius in your chart, this talks about, or no, not Aquarius, excuse me, this is Capricorn. No, it is Aquarius. So sorry about the confusion. So for those of you who have Aquarius in your chart, you're walking back to a situation that did you no good before. Why are you doing that? I hope to goodness that it works out better for you this time, Aquarius. This time. Got to do something different to have a different outcome. Make sure you are. All right? For your own good. Next up, let's look at Pisces. Pisces, Seven of Wands showing up in reverse. This is telling me that you are letting down your guard to somebody. You may be sharing some things with someone that normally you would not share with most people, or maybe you would not have normally shared with this person in the past, but something has shifted and changed. So now you are sharing something with that person today. Thank you guys very much for being here. I do appreciate all of you spending some of your precious time with me today. Everyone have a fantastic day. Peace out.